Let's give Marilyn a big hand, everybody. Thank you, Marilyn Alberti. Yes. Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce David Fleming to you this morning. He reminds me of Charles Fillmore, all washed up in pink. There we go.
What is here, David?
Who was that? Who was that you were introducing?
Mr. Clean?
It was Mr. Pinky Lee. Anybody remember Pinky Lee?
Well, I was eating orange. No, it was carrots. Sorry.
Pinky Lee. Yeah.
Richard, have you gotten my messages about the video?
I did just this morning.
Okay.
I was, yeah. I'll get back to you a little bit later. Okay. Thank you. Oh.
Well,
Sunshine, good morning.
good morning.
Good to see you.
You're muted, Sunshine.
That's okay.
There she is. Hi, Sunshine.
Hi, joy to the world.
Yes.
Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Good morning, Marilyn.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody who's disappearing. Oh,
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Did he just make his transition?
1993.
Wow.
Who was he, anyhow? Who was he?
Oh, the Pinky Lee show. It was on TV right after Howdy Doody.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't have that. Oh, we didn't have that.
Oh,
You didn't have that? Oh, everybody. That was the only thing on TV. There was only one other channel, Marilyn.
No, we never had Pinky Lee. We had Captain Kangaroo and all that good stuff.
And there was Howdy Doody.
Howdy Doody.
Mm-hmm.
No, we did.
Miss Pat's Playroom. You remember that? Miss Pat's Playroom?
Who?
Miss Pat's Playroom.
Oh,
I hear the word.
I was in the Midwest.
oh yeah. See, I was in the East here. We didn't have that.
EY MOUSE.
Well,
Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck.
that's for the younger ones.
Mickey Mouse.
I'm so glad we got that on recording. Let's do that again.
It's such a good thing. Robert's going to edit that out.
We all get along.
No, we'll be using that in an upcoming sermon.
Yes.
Good morning, Sue Barton.
You're muted, Sue.
Oh, wow. Marilyn, you're very funny. Look at Marilyn.
Good morning, everyone.
She's got her props.
Marilyn.
What else you got back there, Marilyn? What else you got?
Oh, I got all kinds of good stuff back here.
Oh, well, anytime you want, you just pop something up there in the screen.
Okay.
Now, could I ask one more question this morning? John Duffy, are you doing the slides today? Or was that just a one-up?
I'm not aware that I'm doing slides.
Okay, then I don't think you are. All right.
Harry sent him around.
Yeah, he sent them to me, and I'm going to be reading them.
Well, good. Well, I'm sure Harry will be on.
If they're there.
I'll if Harry will be here.
Sure he will.
Yes. I can see him logging on as we speak.
Yes.
How's the weather in Davis?
It's great. It's nice this morning. And warm this afternoon.
104.
Oh,
Heartbreaker.
Cool here this morning.
Cloudy here.
4. Maryland, it's 104.
No, it's just cloudy. No, it's cloudy here. Yeah.
Oh,
Sue said it was going to be 104. Sue, is that you?
I did at 5 p.m. It'll be 100.
oh, something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight.
But it's a nice morning.
It's a beautiful morning.
Oh, it's a beautiful morning in Walnut Creek too. It's a little nippy.
Uh-huh.
It was
Nippy is welcomed.
What was your high yesterday, Reverend Rich?
In Walnut Creek, I think it went up to 94.
Okay. Nice. We're all moving to Walnut Creek.
Come on down.
You guys talking about heat?
Yep.
Well, it's cool here. We're accepting heat refugees.
What is the temperature there, Narian? Do you know?
Right now, about 68 or something. Maybe less than
like
that.
that,
Probably not that high yet. It's a high of 77 today.
Wow.
Nice.
Where are you? Where are you?
Santa Rosa.
Oh, okay.
West
Nice,
side of
cool.
Santa Rosa.
Good
Coastal.
morning, Harry.
Good morning, Harry.
Morning,
Morning,
Gary.
Harry.
Morning, Harry.
Morning, Harry.
I know you're there, Harry.
Harry, 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 Harry.
Harry, would you like
Good morning. I'm just plugging in here on a different computer, so.
No, there you are.
Harry, would you like to try screen sharing?
Yeah, just a minute.
You look good in your phones, Harry.
Marcia, may I give you a call sometime after the service?
Yes, absolutely.
Any particular time better than
Maybe early afternoon. That'd be good.
perfect? 1:30?
That'd be good. I'm writing it down.
So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead and enable editing, Harry.
I'm sorry?
Enable editing. There you go. And now you can do your slideshow.
Okay, so I can stop share now. I think it's going to work.
Okay. Good. We're all set. Good job, Harry.
Thank you.
Good.
David Crawley.
Wow. Hey, hey.
Hi, David.
In a different
Nice
room.
to see you in a chair. Look at that.
In the
Comfortable
recliner.
chair.
Yeah, had to make sure you
Oh
guys
my
are doing
goodness.
it right, you know.
And you can really enjoy the music that way.
I know, intend to. Thank you.
I'm gonna have Lucky say hi to David.
Oh, Lucky, I miss you.
I'm sure he would rather be with you than take a walk with me, but that's what we did this morning.
What time did you do that, Joy?
9:15 to about 9:15.
Okay,
Oh.
you beat the heat.
And it was lovely. It was the nicest weather walk I think I've been on for a long time. So
You're inspiring me. I'm going to get out there tomorrow morning.
go, sunshine, go.
Yes.
Hi, Julie.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Really.
Hi.
Hi, David.
Look,
I
we
did.
have Donna and Dixie.
Hello.
Hi. Hi,
Nice to
Hi.
see you guys.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. How
Hi,
nice to
Donna
see you.
and Dixie and Dasher and Prancer.
Are you reindeer ready for some music?
Yeah.
Getting close.
Good morning, Reverend Reds.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Julie.
Okay, I have our video off. If you want to turn it on.
Yes, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you, sweet God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We just want to thank you.
We just want to thank you. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sorry, everybody, I was muted.
Sorry, everybody, I was muted.
Narian and Janet, could you play one more song for us so we can get settled in? And Marilyn, could you mute everybody first? Narian and Janet, could you unmute, please? Narian, could you unmute? Oh, there goes Janet. All right. Good morning, everybody. We'll be with you in a minute as we get these technical glitches done. There we go. Another song, please, Narian and Janet, and get us settled in here this morning as we all log on. Debbie Taylor's here. Good morning, Debbie Taylor. Welcome.
you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Oh, thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thanking you because I love you. Love you. I'm sorry. Oh,
Sorry.
forgive
This
me.
is not coming through because I'm away from the thing.
I love you. I love you.
I love you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. The music of Narian and Janet welcome us this morning. I want to welcome each and every one of you to our virtual worship service at Unity Center of Davis. I'm Reverend Rich Carlini. It's my joy to welcome you this morning. Each and every one of you that are in attendance this morning is so important to our ministry and to the order of the universe today. So thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome our guest speaker for today, who's Reverend Debbie Taylor, and I'd also like to welcome anybody that's here for the first time. If you're here for the first time and you'd like to introduce yourself, if you could take yourself off mute and say hello in your name, I'd sure appreciate it. That would be great. Now, Karen Epps, introduce yourself. Oh, Debbie Taylor, you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself to introduce yourself. Debbie Taylor, push your space bar down and hold it for a minute and talk. Well, we'll come back to first-time visitors in a few moments, but it's also the first Sunday of the month. And we'd like to say happy birthday to all the August birthdays. Let's join together and sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear family. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. Are wonderful. God is blessing you now. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to all those August birthdays, including the one and only Reverend Rich Carlini, whose birthday is on Friday the 13th this year. So my favorite day. Happy Friday the 13th of August to all those Leos out there. And before I pray this morning, I just want to make sure that our guest speaker, Reverend Debbie Taylor, can unmute and talk to us.
I'm here. Are you there?
Yes. Good morning,
Woo-hoo!
Debbie. We're all here. The universe is in divine order now. Welcome, Debbie. We're looking forward to... Wait, what was I saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thanks for the guests that are here from you, joining you today. We welcome them as well.
You bet.
Let's take a moment now and take a deep breath and join me in prayer this morning. Loving and gracious God, we open ourselves to the very presence of the universe in and through our lives. We open ourselves to the knowledge that each of us are connected through the Christ within, that each of us are connected to God, to the Christ, to each other, and that there is not one spot in this universe that God is not. This morning, as we begin our service, we hold all those suffering from the COVID-19 virus in our prayers. We see the healing energy of God flowing through them. We see them open and receptive to that healing energy. We also bring into our mind anyone who has not received the COVID-19 vaccine at this point. We see them in divine order. We see them opening to spiritual understanding, and that they receive the guidance of the universe about the vaccine. We see ourselves open to the guidance that they have received and to the actions that they have chosen. And we wrap our hearts in love around each person on this planet during this pandemic. We also pray for peace this morning. Peace in our mind, peace in our hearts, peace in our planet. We see any nation that's not experiencing peace right now, open to the peace of the universe, open to a peace that passes all understanding, open to the awareness that our time in this human experience is a gift, and that it's ours to make what we make of it. And in the midst of what we're making of it, we call forward peace. Peace be still. Peace be still, and know that I am God. And lastly, but not least, we open our hearts to gratitude. We're grateful for each and every person here. We're grateful for this human experience. And we're grateful for the love of the universe that flows through each and every one of us. So we say, thank you, God. Thank you. Amen. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our opening song, Walking in the Bliss. Narian and Janet, you're on.
Wait, aren't I Janice?
No, you're Janice, yes.
That was an awesome prayer, Rich. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Walking in the bliss, 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 walking in the bliss,
Walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss,
walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss,
walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss,
walking in the bliss,
walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, yeah, yeah. Walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss,
walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss,
yeah, yeah. Walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, oh, oh. Walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the bliss, walking in the
Thank you, Narian and Janet. Thank you for the truth. We are one. And we are one, walking in the bliss together. And now, Sue Barton, will you please walk with us in the bliss through the announcements?
Good morning. My name is Sue Barton, and it's my pleasure to do the announcements. And I have to say this, I'm a little blissed out. At Unity Center of Davis, we have a vision, a world transformed by divine love. Our mission statement is so important. Let's say it together to affirm it. We radiate that divine love through prayer, spiritual enrichment, joyful connection, and sacred service. We are very, very blessed that our chaplains and Reverend Rich, Monday through Friday at 12 noon, hold a virtual meditation. You can enter it through the Zoom link in the e-news. It's for 1.5 hours from noon to 12:30. It's a wonderful way to get through the week. I had the opportunity of meeting Reverend Dr. Martha Creek in a conversation. She is an enthusiastic, creative, unity-rich human being who will be our speaker on August 8th. And her talk will be Use Your Will for Life-Affirming Choices. We are going to have a new and current member orientation update hosted by Women in Spirit on August 14th. It is virtual from 10 a.m. to noon, and registration is required, which you can do through the e-news or on the website. Let me just say a little bit about what we're going to focus on there. We're going to, Reverend Rich will help us remember and review the principles. We are going to learn about some of the unity history as well as some of UCOD's history for those of you who are new to UCOD. And we'll also be presented with something called a blueprint, which is a strategy and path for the sustainability of UCOD until 2022, when there will be another sustainability plan as well. So please join us. Another save the date. Actually, this slide has so many save the dates. It's exciting. So we are going back to Slide Hill Park, which is where the last Women in Spirit event and our first all together being in the same space occurred. On September 18th, we will be at Slide Hill Park, and we'll be a little different. We're going to have music and prayerful music to start as people are gathering. And then we are going to create morning altars from the natural surroundings within the church. We will have time for quiet conversation about those altars that the people who have been involved with making them. There will be prayer and time for social contact, and then of course, some good food. You can see the other events on our calendar. Let's see, we're going to get to New Member Sunday, World Day of Prayer, Sundown Gratitude Circle in November, and the Christmas party. Watch your newsletter to find out more information. Small groups. This is another thing that's coming to UCOD. Audrey is going to focus on bringing together people who love to read and love to talk about books in small group discussions. Stay connected and enjoy each other's company. Contact Audrey to brainstorm how we can do this and how we can get started. And then there's another small group opportunity. Donna Twilthridge, I'm going to just read this, wants to put together small groups of 2 to 6 people, hosted by a different person each time, to meet and have coffee or tea in a public place or at your home. If you take part in one of these and enjoy the experience, you can pay it forward by creating another one. Thank you, Donna, for this wonderful opportunity. After service, we have breakout rooms. Take some time to meet with a small group of Unity Center of Davis people to share what's on your mind, how your week has gone, to talk about a book that you have enjoyed that you might want to have in a book group, to chat and listen to one another and be connected. Sign up for our e-newsletter on the website. You'll see the yellow newsletter sign up at the bottom of the page. And now is my pleasure to welcome our prayer chaplain of the day, Don Merrill, who is sitting with his 4th grandchild, Liam, who has a smile on his face that's a little like that wry smile or that crooked smile that Elvis Presley used to have. Welcome, Don Morrow, as chaplain today.
Thank you, Sue. And thank you, Liam, for his first being here for his first screenshot. That's Liam Merrick. It was a gift to us on Easter Sunday. So now is a time in our service that we pray for others, and that's so important, both for us and for them. So I'd like you to hold folks, anybody, friends, anyone, public figures, people, nations in your mind and heart now, and you can say their name out loud or just in silence think that of them, and let's pray for them now. Pierce, Liam, Bob, Eric, Dave, Denise. And then let's hold them in our heart and now, and please join me in prayer. I open now to divine love, expressing always and everywhere. God is love within us, surrounding all, uniting all, and ever present. I am an expression of divine love and divine spirit. I share my light and love with all I've thought of now in prayer. Please join me together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold God's love as you. Amen. And now it's my great pleasure to have our August affirmations, and on August 1st, from the World Unity World of Service, and every beginning of a month we do these, and they're so great and renewing. And so I'll say the blessing first, and then you repeat it with me. And now for inner peace. With each beat of my heart, I relax into peace. Together. With each beat of my heart, I relax into peace. And for guidance, I am divinely guided step by step to a new and fulfilling life. Together. I am divinely guided step by step to a new and fulfilling life. For healing, the healing power of divine life within strengthens and revitalizes me. Together, the healing power of divine life within strengthens and revitalizes me. In prosperity, I am connected to infinite, abundant spiritual supply. Together, I am connected to infinite, abundant spiritual supply. And finally, for world peace, I express divine love and affirm peace and harmony for all. Together, I express divine love and affirm peace and harmony for all. Amen. So, chaplains are available. I'm available today as your chaplain and after the service to join you in prayer of gratitude or concern, anything that's on your mind you'd like prayer for. You can either just click in the chat and leave your phone number and I'll call you after the service, or you can fill out the prayer request form on the website. And it's my blessing and pleasure to do that anytime. That's available during the week as well.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Narian and Janet, for the song you're about to sing.
You're welcome. It's an oldie but goodie.
When we heard Debbie's name of her talk, wait, what? The song we wrote a while back is perfect.
Ready?
It's perfecto. Yeah.
Some boundaries. Some people in our cul-de-sac, they just ain't much fun. They like to smear their stress on everyone.
Ew.
Well, come on over to our house. You'll feel much better, hun. An orange rose, a yoga pose, and life has just begun.
Leave your stress at the door, or you can't come in no more.
Being home just shouldn't be a chore. When you come in that gate, leave your troubles there to wait. We're all here to have a real good day.
That doesn't rhyme.
Well, those people on the TV, they like to shout and frown, and copycats abound all over this town. Well, come on over to our place and slow your breathing down. Put on a smile and stay a while. We like having you around. But leave your stress at the door, or you can't come in no more. Being home just shouldn't be a chore. When you come in that gate, leave your troubles there to wait. We're all here to have a real good day.
That still don't rhyme.
Well, we don't drink too much coffee, but plenty of green tea, and most of our desserts are sugar-free. Well, I ain't superstitious, but it seems to me what you don't eat can make you sweet, so I keep it out of me. Leave your stress at the door, or you can't come in no more. Being home just shouldn't be a chore. When you come in that gate, leave your troubles there to wait. We're all here to have a real good day. Well, we got a great big bucket right outside our door, next to the welcome mat that's on our porch.
Y'all come on in now.
Well, just put your burdens in there. You don't need those anymore. Then come on in, wear a big grin, and help us carry the torch. Leave your stress at the door, or you don't need it anymore. Being home just shouldn't be a chore. When you come in that
that gate. Leave your troubles there to wait. We're all here to have a real good day. That's right. I hear the words you're saying. They sound good and true. I'm tired of being grumpy, mean and cruel. I'm gonna get a bucket. That's what I'm gonna do. And when you come home, turn off your phone and I'll cuddle up with you. And leave your stress at the door. You don't need it anymore. Being home, it shouldn't be a chore. When you come in that gate, leave your troubles there to wait. We're all here to have a real good day. One more time. Your stress at the door. You don't need it anymore. Being home, it shouldn't be a chore. When you come in that gate, leave your troubles there to wait. We're all here to have a real good day. Woo! Hey!
Yeehaw! All right. Thank you, Narian and Janet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was fabulous. We want more of that. Oh, you know, it's my pleasure to introduce one of my favorite people from Unity. When I was in seminary, I had the pleasure of sharing a year of seminary with Reverend Debbie Taylor. She graduated. You'll remember Bill Engelhardt, who's spoken for us several times. She and Bill graduated in the same class. Debbie sent me a long biography, and I threw it out the door because I just wanted to introduce her myself. And Debbie brings such a background, rich background of counseling, grief counseling, hospice work, grief work. She was the minister at Unity of Beaverton in Beaverton, Oregon, currently resides in Portland. And I have to say that what Debbie Taylor brings for me is heart. She really brings her heart to ministry, and she brings love to ministry. She's appeared with Billy Engelhardt and I on our radio show, The Healing Power of Grief, talking about your stories and how, if you just let go of your story, if you take a look at the story you're presenting, you can really release some of your grief, because a lot of your grief is caused by the story that you create. So I'm very anxious to hear Debbie's talk this morning and to feel her heart with us here at Unity Center of Davis. Welcome, Reverend Debbie Taylor.
Thank you, Rich. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me play with you. And what great music. That's like, that'll get everybody going. So thank you. So wait, what was I saying about that? I don't, give me a second. Oh, I wasn't listening to myself. Well, did you know that you guys have a fingerprint? Yes, I heard blueprint earlier mentioned in your announcements, but you have a fingerprint, many different kinds, but you also have a fingerprint story. Our lives are our story, our fingerprint. They're completely you, undeniably you. There's no one else like you, as you know, who can live and describe the events of your feelings, your thoughts, your life better than you. Right there, that makes you unique and special. And we have stories galore, don't we, Rich? That in every moment of our lives, ones that we see and tell, ones we ignore, ones that we hide. Stories that are told by others that we carry, stories of omission, or the secrets that remain untold, stories that we own, and many stories that own us. And that's what we've talked about on the show. We tell stories to explain the world, such as the 7-day creation story taken from the Bible, and keeping in mind that that's one of the biggest #1 stories, because we are every one of those characters in that book, in that good book, and we are every one of those places. in that good book. There are so many books. I grew up reading books. Our children grew up reading books. We tell stories to create meaning, like what happens to us when we die, what heaven might look like, creating meaning. We tell stories to create a culture and our place in it. For example, let's see, America is that place where people can succeed, where anyone can be president, where prosperity is available to us all, a car in every garage, a chicken in every pot. Have you heard this? And of course, we create stories of our own lives. Sometimes we create stories that even aren't our own lives. We like to exaggerate that. But we live in our story because we are our story. So I thought I'd do a little looking into what makes up that story. And over the past 35 years or so, researchers have become more and more interested in the concept of narrative psychology. That's something to check out, narrative psychology. The idea that we deal with our experiences through a narrative of our events and emotions that give us a sense of where we're headed, where we've been, where we want to be. And we begin to construct our narratives starting in childhood, obviously. Perhaps you remember your childhood as a happy time, a peaceful time, perhaps for some, a time of violence, a time of poverty. All of it shapes our personality. Since I was a very little girl,
You accidentally muted yourself, Reverend.
thank you. Since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be in a room where the grown-ups congregated, where all of the good, rich conversations were. And that I didn't want to play those dumb games outside when I could be listening. Can anybody relate? Can you put your hands up? I want to know if I'm the only one. Yeah? So you wanted to be around the grown-ups? I would listen intently to stories my dad would tell about his great-grandparents. Like I just learned recently, very recently, about his great-granddad that learned how to tie a Windsor knot by lying down because he was a mortician. Go figure. Or if you really are listening, you can hear stories anywhere, like picking beans alongside my grandfather Roy in the morning. And he would reminisce about his youth and tell me how to pick the beans, how he learned them. There's a story everywhere. Or preparing for company with my other grandmother, Mimi, and as we pull out the beautiful china that would be saved, she'd tell me the stories of all the times they used those plates. There are treasures waiting everywhere.
Debbie, you're muted.
I keep muting. I don't know why that's happening.
It can happen, dear.
Thanks, Rich. So I thought of people's lives like it was better than going to the movies. Far more easier to do just sitting and listening. As I grew up, I started noticing that I was better at listening than I was about speaking. Anybody? Much better at listening. What I realized, it allowed me to also hide a little bit, but I was still so fascinated. So let's pause for a minute. I want to check in. This is where we get to play together. Notice without judgment where your mind was just now, besides Rich telling me that my mute was muted. So thank you. You keep doing that. Were you distracted? Were you daydreaming? Were you relaxed? Were you present? Did you completely miss the last two sentences? And the pause that I'm talking about is how we call ourselves back into retraining our attention, because we can get really lazy doing that. So every time you hear me say, wait, what was I saying? I want you to put a hand up if you weren't listening. That's kind of risky, but this group feels like you're really, really connected. So you can risk. And it's how we grow. So whenever I insert that, just be honest and let us know, because it's hard to listen 100% of the time. And it really does call us back into a higher level of accountability and a level of spiritual maturity. Speaking of, as I began to mature, I realized that my story mattered too. And that my own fingerprint, if you will, was becoming precious to me, so much so that I held my story extremely close. That way nobody could judge it as right or wrong, good or bad. I see Sue smiling. Eventually in my 20s, I discovered that the importance of listening was very, very necessary, but also the importance of balancing that out with speaking appropriately was a sign that I was becoming more comfortable in my own skin. I was beginning to value my own personhood, maturing and integrating into a healthier sense of self. To this day, I adore hearing about a person's past and present journey, as well as their dreams. Perfect for me to go into spiritual counseling, right? I love hearing what stands out in your lives, what struggles and successes you faced on your road, what you hope your legacies will be, and how you become the person you are today and want to be tomorrow. To me, it's the greatest honor of a human being can give another human being is to see and witness the fingerprint of their story. And that allows us to become co-creators together on this planet, to be sacred witnesses, if you will, to one another. Imagine if we all tried harder. I think we're kind of like the seers of each other's light, a light that's gifted to us to protect and to cherish one another. Wait, what was I saying? Thanks. Your story is like observing a magnificent piece of tapestry, if you will. Holding it closely, examining those fibers to see what fits together, what doesn't fit together, looking at the hues and the light on it. That's you, that's your story, that's your tapestry, unlike anybody else's tapestry. It is stunning. And we can also see where those tapestries start to unravel at times, sometimes barely held together without anybody having any idea. Those tapestries that I'm speaking of have passed down from every single culture, every single generation since the beginning of human existence. That's pretty cool. Anthropologists, sociologists, scientists, researchers, historians trace the art of storytelling as far back as 30,000 plus years ago, where even in the earliest civilizations, small groups of people gathered, and then they relied on oral tradition to pass down cultural beliefs, familial memories, creative fantasy, and tradition. These global stories that we're talking about were told in circles, maintaining excellent eye contact to ensure the human connectedness would not be broken. These gatherings bonded groups of people, built trust and community, like you all have, and helped them recognize truths about their own reality. As we did it then, we're still doing it now. We're doing it in neighborhoods, we're doing it in offices, churches, support groups, parties, anywhere you look, we relish our stories. How many of you just now were waiting for me to say, wait? What did I just say? How many? Yeah, good. I can't see the second or third screen, so you guys get a pass. Additionally, indigenous cultures maintain a strong sense of core community by adding songs, drawings, gestures, voice intonations, and dance. The wiring of our brains, especially back then, became trained to listen ensuring better accuracy, of carrying our memories forward. It's kind of like they became the mail, the telegram, the telephone, the newspaper, all at once. The elders would teach us through repetition, spontaneous exercises like we're doing off and on here, literally creating your DNA, coding you for your body, mind, and spirit to listen. That way it extends it both backwards and forwards for generations, linking us all into a circle and an eternal chain. Wait, no, no. In college, during the 1970s, in my Philosophies of Man class, probably the most amazing class I ever had, I was fascinated as I learned about social memes, tribal cultures, symbolism, linguistics, verbal and nonverbal communication, and oral tradition. And I learned that things are changing rapidly and not necessarily for the good. I felt a sharp feeling that I even was thinking about as I was preparing for this message today in my gut, because as the professor carefully explained, by the year 2050, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer here, but by the year 2050, communication researchers predicted that oral traditions and storytelling would die out completely as the brains of our children began changing, their ability to process critical information, their inability to sit still, their desire to listen closely and respectfully, it's all dramatically decreasing. And ironically, the advancements in technology of all things, communication, would hasten a disinterest, participation, and a decrease in overall appreciation. The year is now 2021, folks. So the empirical evidence and predictions may be coming true. In only 29 more years, the newest generation of babies, AKA Generation Alpha, born 2010 to the mid-2020s, will be the final generation able to pass on clearly ancient stories and centuries old traditions. I sure hope my teacher was wrong. I don't know about you, but I hope he's wrong. Today, formal storytelling has shifted to big screen movies, YouTube videos, cell phone apps, even illustrated books are starting to go by the wayside. But one of the closest things that exists to oral tradition and has not ever yet gone away is sitting around the campfire. A campfire is created in an intimate setting. It uses Mother Earth's materials of rocks, fire, wood, positioned under the beautiful night sky, shining above our heads, connecting heaven and earth through us. Bringing every member into a group, young, old, educated, uneducated, female, male, rich, poor, doesn't matter. All that goes away because we come together, maybe unconsciously, drawn back into our ancient roots when gathered around a campfire. And leave it to us to find a way to introduce marshmallows and sugar and chocolate into the equations with a little s'mores so we can have communion. So there's a game I want to give to you today that you can try at your next campfire, or, you know, go for your traditional holiday parties, whatever, birthday parties. Have you ever played the game called And Then? Sitting around in a circle, someone starts a story by telling a few lines, like there was an abandoned house at the end of the road that just sat for years. And then that sentence is passed to the next person in the circle, and they add a few more lines. It's a great thing to do in your coffee gatherings before or after service. And each person adds just a couple more lines to the story, and everybody helps create that story, something everybody can enjoy and go along with. Nobody is left out. voila, you've got something that you created. And it does take a village, by the way, to form a story. But wait, what was I saying? Definitely, and then is a better game than any board or video game. For any of you listening, I'm sorry, but it can be played anywhere, anytime, in the car, doesn't matter. You don't need electronics to do it. Researchers have emphasized that families who reminisce about events of the day with preschoolers, new babies, Don, will actually help their children begin to tell their own descriptive narratives with greater empathy. For kids, the ability to articulate about their day is linked with higher self-esteem, a stronger sense of self, because that child's learning to become introspective through the use of narration, humor, gestures, tone of voice. It builds their creativity early. And they don't even know that they can't do it when they become older and the adults tell them, oh, no, you need to be quiet. Our youngest son, Nathan, struggled with school academically. Numerous meetings or IEPs were held, while individual plans were repeatedly put into place. He had the attention span, but there was still something off that nobody could pinpoint. It took years by the way he was processing information or wasn't. The school psychologist recommended that we take him to a very specialized program to be evaluated. Turns out that Nate could hear just fine any sentence, but no picture was being conjured up in his mind for retention. This is far, far more common in children than teachers have any idea, by the way. If you're having somebody in your life that's struggling, I highly recommend pay attention here. It was affecting his overall development. Wait, what was I saying? Thanks, Barbara. For instance, listen to this. The feisty brown fox jumped on a fence to better see the mailman who carried a pretty box to the neighbor. Nathan, when he was asked to recount it, was only able to tell you there was a brown fox and a pretty box. There was nothing else in between. There was no color, there are no adjectives he could grab. And in New Thought, we talk a lot about the spiritual power of imagination, and that creative visualization is helpful. By age 6, empathy and creative visualization are both supposed to be firmly intact. Creative visualization for us in Unity allows us to run the movie, which is what children do. Read to all his life, and now a 3rd grader reading on a 6th grade level, Nathan had 0 retention. So the private tutoring program started him at the most basic, tedious level. Imagine you sitting there and they're going to show you one word, another word, put those two together, and then add another word. Now put those two together. Tedious for a year, every day on top of his schooling. He was tutored until he could move short phrases into longer and longer phrases. We take this for granted. However, look at our children today and how they're learning.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun. I'm happy to say that a year of intense training propelled Nathan forward, way forward academically, allowing him to be the first of our 3 children, and he was our youngest, to graduate college with a Presidential Achievement Award. Yay. Yeah, thanks, Joy and Todd. Yeah, really. So, are you anticipating waiting for me at this moment to say, wait? How many of you are? Are you leaning in? So let me just stop you. While you're listening and leaning, you're not listening 100%. Very tricky muscle, isn't it? So as I mentioned earlier, oral traditions are at a risk of extinction for a number of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons I believe is because we've lost the art of listening. So let's talk about active listening. Wait, what was I saying? If we are actively listening, our minds do not wander one little bit, not one little bit, to something else. We're not thinking about the next thing we're going to say. We're not thinking about our chatter. We're not thinking about our agendas. We're not thinking about the grocery store run we're going to do after church. We're not getting our rebuttals ready. We're not distracted. We're not sitting in judgment when somebody else is speaking. It requires us to use every one of our senses to listen better. If you're really listening, you'll be exhausted, as it requires discipline, patience, and intensity. You might ask, if it's so hard, then why do it? Because every single person here and beyond deserves the respect of being heard. If you want to be heard and listened to, you must first show you're able to demonstrate it. Whether you know it or not, we all crave being heard and bonding. That's the number one thing that brings us together. That's why a sympathetic ear is such a powerful force in our relationships, and why the failure to be heard and feel misunderstood is so painful. I don't know, nothing hurts worse than the sense that people closest to us may not be listening when we have something important to say. That reminds me. A woman bumped into her neighbor with her cart in the grocery store. The cart bumper immediately occupied the conversation for several minutes. You know those folks. She said, "Oh, hi, Ellen. How are you?" And every time the neighbor tried to open her mouth to answer, the woman repeatedly interrupted, talking about herself. After a few long minutes, the neighbor tried to subtly maneuver her cart away, and the talker remarked, "Oh, Ellen, I didn't mean to dominate the conversation so much. Dear, oh dear, my, I just went on and on and on. Okay, I'll stop. Let's talk about you now. I promise to be quiet and let you answer. Go ahead, Ellen. Enough about me." And as the neighbor finally started to open her mouth, the talker said, "Oh, I'm so sorry again. I just want to tell you, I didn't mean to dominate the conversation. I just was chattering. And by the way, how do you like my hair?" I have learned 6 quick tips about listening that you've probably heard before, but bears repeating. And thank God this is recorded, so you can go back and listen. There is a difference between dialogue versus a monologue. Don't fool yourself. If one person is talking, it's not a dialogue. Are you talking at or with people? Check. 2, when in a heated conversation, make sure both sides are respectfully, underlined, heard, because deliberately pausing will help you so you aren't moving into reaction, you're staying in responding. There are 2 sides to a pancake. Respond, don't react. Number 3, silence is a powerful tool in communication, but we have to be comfortable with being silent within ourselves. That's a tough one. 4, upfront, ask, would you like me to listen or problem solve? That is a great tool for a successful marriage. And I know that because we've been together 42 years. 5, before you speak, continually ask yourself, is this a hill or a topic that I really want to go to battle on, but I need to win? Do I want to die on this topic? If not, stop talking. Go back to number 3. And the last one, number 6, and this one I'm going to go slow on. The act of listening requires a submersion of the self and an immersion into the other. Submersion of yourself and an immersion of the other. So Rich and I also have the history of being in the medical facilities together. We weren't at the same time, but maybe, Reverend Rich. I also worked in both hospital and hospice settings for over a decade. And it's in both of those difficult environments, the times of greatest adversity and tribulation, that I got to be my honor to be a sacred witness. As a professional chaplain, among many things in my position, I would assess the spiritual and psychosocial emotional state of my patients and sometimes their families. Perhaps the best part of my job was when I'd go into a room, I'd sit down, I'd set the clipboard aside, and I'd simply say, let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm truly here to listen. I'm not here to take your vitals. I'm not here to ask you the same questions for the 18th time. Tell me about yourself. Not in those exact words, but you know what I'm saying. The patient and I may start out talking about the food service and care they're receiving or not getting what they're asking for, or their physical pain, their diagnosis, all the while establishing a foundation of safety and of a trust between us. One afternoon, in particular in hospice, I will never forget, I knocked on a man's door to pay him a visit. He barely responded. I want you to try and imagine this with creative visualization. As he sat up and he was staring at the wall directly in front of him. No TV was on, and all you could see when you walked in was the big industrial clock and then a calendar right underneath. That was it. I quietly walked in and pulled up a chair near his bedside. And I couldn't help but notice the rest of the room was very austere. It was cold. And it struck me how metaphorically both the calendar and the clock were in his face, marking his time and his mortality. At first I sat running the movie by using all my senses to perceive the situation before me, taking it in and asking God to tell me what to do. He continued to stare. I was in no hurry. As he was probably accustomed to the staff flitting in and flitting out, I didn't go anywhere. That was a change in the dynamic. After a few minutes, I offered him a sip of water, and he stopped staring, and he said yes. And he took that simple courtesy or act of kindness that we should extend to every human being. And that's when we slowly began to establish communication. I have to tell you, I'll never forget him, Fred, because he informed me that he was a ward of the state sent to this facility to die. Let me repeat, no visitors, no cards, no plants, no personal items of any kind, including the fact that he was wearing a hospital gown instead of his own pajamas, and he had been there weeks. The sterile setting was very different from what I was used to, and I'm sure for him. Fred was in his early 80s with a salt and pepper beard that was probably 2 or 3 days old. He didn't offer much. There were no comforts for him. So as we began talking, Fred calmly shared that he was no one. He had no story. He had no children, no wife. All of his family was dead. He appeared defeated. He appeared broken, a term I do not use very often because I don't believe we're broken. Fred literally referred to himself as, quote, an inconsequential individual. My heart hurt just even remembering him this week. Here was a man who had lived over 8 decades, and somewhere along the way, he lost himself. He had come to accept that his life was no longer story worthy. We all know the power that stories have. They do transport us to other places, other times. They spark our imagination. They give us a will to live. They nurture our sense of wonder. They shape our perspective and our outlook on the world. They help us escape from harsh realities and now look at his reality. Unfortunately, stories can also be created for nefarious purposes too. Just as they have the power to free us from bondage, so do they also have the power to control and oppress. The stories of ourselves that we're told by others, especially when we're children, can damage the image that we carry forward about ourselves the rest of our lives. You were the clumsy one. You were never good at math. You had a lisp when you were younger. You were the oopsie child, a mistake. Wow. What stories were you told about that still have a hold on you? I invite you to journal about those because they still can be let go of. I don't care how old we are. This leads me to another question for you. We must also consider who are the storytellers? Who are the ones controlling the narrative psychology of our lives? We invest, often unwittingly, tremendous power in them and their story about us and believe what they had to tell is the truth. Wait, what was I saying? Some of us literally give our power away, believing that that story must be the truth of who we are. And I think that's what happened to Fred. Here is a person who's bereft, believing that he doesn't have a story. When prompted to tell me more about himself, Fred shrugs his shoulders and flatly says he doesn't have anything to add. I had never run into this situation, you guys, in all my years, in all my training. And so I decided to say a few things to him. No matter how mundane, matter of fact we see our lives, or how alone we may feel, each and every one of us is on a hero's journey. We are precious in God's sight. We are all on the epic voyage with all that that image implies. I have yet to meet a single soul who hasn't on occasion faced storm-tossed seas that challenged our very survival. That saying, be kind for everyone is fighting a great battle, doesn't just remind us to be kind or to have compassion. It reminds us that life at times can be so incredibly difficult and that we're all in one form or another facing our inner demons. Now that may seem like a depressing thought, but when you look at the people that have faced a cancer diagnosis with grace and dignity, or how you survived the death of someone near and dear to you, or how you all for the past year have battled loneliness or confinement with creativity, or just plain old dogged determination, how you balance out all the demands in your life, yet still show up smiling on Sunday morning, you are amazing and inspire me. And every one of you has a story worth telling. I told Fred an untold story is an opportunity squandered. Because not only is everyone's story worthy in and of itself of telling, but it's the most miraculous thing. Your story that I find helps shape me to live out my story. In the end, there is no my story, and there is no your story. There is no his story or her story. It's our story. It's our oral tradition. It's our collective consciousness. And our story to be told, we must be willing to invite everybody's story to be heard. We must commit to listening to all the stories, no matter how painful they may be. For it's in the stories that we grow, we ache, we stretch, we feel, We're finding the bonding, we're finding the interconnectedness. And because without each stories, as well as our own, we're incomplete. We need to be the sacred witness to each other. Listening, true listening, is one of the most extraordinary ways we can show up for one another. Praise your chaplains. Praise those that have the consciousness to stand fully present and listen. After all, sharing our fingerprints is how we genuinely connect. Wait, what were you saying? I want to know you because I care. God bless you, every one of you. And Rich, I think this is our time. Oh, right back to you. Rich, is this our time to go into some music and for meditation?
Yes, let's prepare for a time of meditation. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
You're very welcome.
I am a bubble, make me the sea, make me the sea, oh make me the sea, make me the sea, oh make me the sea, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea, I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea, wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am a bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea.
Thank you, beautiful music coming in for this meditation. And if you're comfortable in joining me in closing your eyes and allowing your body to hold you, to protect you, to shape you, to support you, breathe with me. In that breath is your story. In that breath is your fingerprint. That perfect place where you can go and you can listen to your own story. That is enough. Breathe with me. And imagine, if you will, this beautiful, beautiful garden. There is nothing going there except peace. There's maybe a bird song. The sun is gently shining. The breeze is cool. Use all of your senses to step into that garden, to say yes to that God of your being that wants nothing more than to anoint you, to remind you that you are His blessed, that you are that divine spark, that bright light, that sacred witness that can go forth and listen and honor others, and to be patient. Patient as a person finds themselves in that garden, learns that their voice is important, learns to trust the song of their heart. As you sit there holding them, you also hold yourself. The way you treat others is how you treat yourself. Mark Nepo, an excellent author, wrote this wonderful poem that I want you to just take into your heart in the moment of silence at the end of it. It's called A Pearl of Wind. Tell me a story, any story. Tell me what happened or what didn't happen, or what you hope will happen. I need signs of life to lift my head. I need some pearl of wind to open my wings. So sing me a song for yourself, but let me listen. I don't care if you're trained or shy or can't hum a tune. Just sing anything from your heart. It will stir my heart. We can do this for each other, can't we? May it be so. As we go into the silence, listening to the song of our own heart in the quiet. Thank you, God, for the beauty, for the infilling, for this community, and for sourcing each one of us to trust our own story and to love others as they live theirs as well. Thank you, God. Amen. And at this time, if you gently come back into this time and place, Reverend Rich, blessings.
Narian and Janet.
This is a new song debut for y'all.
I'm a child of God, child of God, created from the wealth of the universe. I'm born into the kingdom of love. Oh, oh. I'm a child of God, child of God, created from the wealth of the universe, born into the kingdom of love.
How much longer before I find my home? Sometimes I struggle, I can't face the night alone. What is my birthright? Who put me in this world? I'm not an orphan, nor a mortal, nor a material girl. I'm a child of God, yeah, yeah. Child of God, created from the wealth of the universe, born into the kingdom of love. What is this ecstasy that comes without a cause? Did I make a breakthrough or just put my mind on pause? What is the light out there that guides me to the stars? Behind the mystery, I see who you are. I'm
Narian and Janet, thank you, Narian and Janet. That was absolutely beautiful. What a full service it's been today. Reverend Debbie Taylor, thank you for such an important message. All of us in the Taking the Eye of the Storm class, that was just right on topic. So thank you, Debbie. So good. Please come back and join us. Narian and Janet, we love your new song. We love your music. Thank you very much. And excuse me, now's the time that we give thanks for your love offerings, for your pledges, for your donations to this ministry. And if there's anybody out there right now that feels called to donate, that hasn't donated, we could certainly welcome those donations. And it's our commitment to use them to do the way and the work of this ministry. If you just click on the chat button, there's a link to donate. We receive it with gratitude. So thank you. And now, I can't remember what's next. Let's sing our peace song.
Wait,
what was I saying?
Walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
And please join me in our prayer protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power, and the presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you all for being here today. What a wonderful service. I enjoyed it. It was like going to church today for me, so thank you. And Debbie, please join us for breakout rooms. We're going to break into 3 breakout rooms this morning.